I wanted to get started asking about how you became involved in starring in the movie and what you really liked about your character and the overall script as well.
Oh gosh. Well, I was lucky enough to become involved because I'm friends with one of the producers, Bo Youngblood, and I have worked together before. And she and I, she reached out to me kind of at the beginning of this pandemic and let me know that this project was in the works. I took a look at the script and I thought it was a great, I don't know, a really cool kind of unique opportunity in like real time while we were going through this to make a movie about it. So that really excited me. Yeah.
And also, I wanted to ask about getting to work with Will, the director, and your experience collaborating with him and really figuring out how you wanted to approach playing your character and just overall your experience getting to collaborate with him during the production as well.
Yeah, sure. Well, Will is great. We had this project was really unique in that we were shooting during this time that was, is still, I suppose, kind of unknown, with this pandemic. And so we were working in a really unique way. Will was not on set for the majority of our shoot. We were all being directed via earwigs that we were wearing. Will was in the production office. We were all shooting simultaneously, and we all were kind of only on set with our, scene partners and one camera operator. So in that sense, it was super unique. We were shooting all at the same time. When we came back to a take, started over, we all did it together. It was all in real time using this kind of interface as Zoom, which you see in the movie a lot, not Zoom itself, but a similar interface as a way of communicating with each other and connecting. So that was different. It's tough as an actor not to have real people in front of you and to be able to connect in that way. And I thought that Will was really great with kind of facilitating that and communicating with us at the same time and helping us to connect in ways that, we weren't able to do because we weren't in person. As far as the character goes, Liam and I are super similar. It was not a far stretch for me. I thought that living in Los Angeles during a time where everything felt it was falling apart was not a far stretch. So I really tried to draw on sort of my real life sort of energy and fears and experiences, and just really placed myself in this heightened reality of the film. And it wasn't as difficult as as other projects have been. It was definitely more of a challenge to not be with everybody. I thought that was the biggest challenge of this film, but it was pretty excellent in the end.
Mm-hmm. And also, speaking about working with your co-stars, I also wanted to ask about in that respect and what that process was like of really maybe getting to know them and really like shooting with most of them over like the kind of like the Zoom app, like you mentioned, and what that experience was like of maybe getting to know each other and figuring out how to shoot in that sense as well.
Sure. Well, I'll say that Adwin Brown, who plays my boyfriend in the movie, he and I began connecting prior to shooting. We spent a lot of time on the phone. We even Zoomed and kind of FaceTimed to get to know each other, because that I felt like was the biggest connection I needed to have, Now that being said, he was the only person I was able to be with in real life. So it once we met, we immediately hit it off, and that wasn't an issue. Funny enough, I still haven't met many of my co-stars in real life because we shot over Zoom. We were all on different sets. And I felt that the kind of chemistry and kind of best friend vibe just sort of happened organically. We sort of all sat down on day one. We started with a conversation like this, and we went right into shooting. It was super natural, not supernatural, but super natural, and very organic. I thought that, gosh, everybody just had such a good, friendly vibe that it really just gelled. The script also was so conversational, so real, so exactly what you'd want, given these sort of heightened parameters that we were dealt. And so it felt really natural from the beginning. And I think by the time we were really in it and rolling, the friendships developed. I feel like I know these people so well, and it's just because everybody had a really great approach to, you know, the friendship.
Mhm. And while I was watching the film, I like the fact also that in the beginning of the story, like everyone seems to really be getting along, and as things quickly escalate, they all seem to have a difference in opinion about how they should react to what's going on. And was that something that you and the rest of the cast really enjoyed exploring as well, showing like how everyone reacted differently?
Yeah, and I mean, how much more of a mirror to our real scenario could that have been? You know, I feel like again, it just happened so organically because in this time, there's no answers. Everybody thinks they have an answer. Nobody has the answer. And we're all just sort of flying by the seat of our pants. And it was a beautiful gift to be given the opportunity to play in a film where the characters also were just flying by the seat of their pants, you know? So technically we really were, and then in the story we were as well. And so it was great. It really allowed for heads to butt at certain times, for differences to kind of rise, for stakes to rise. And as you see in the film, things get crazy quickly. And I think a lot of that stems from everybody's sort of different take and different perspective on how to deal with the same problem, you know?
Yeah. And also, like that kind of also relates to like the social commentary that the stories are also like delving into, especially later in the story when they're dealing with like the police and how they should approach like how they should handle what's going on. And is that something that you also enjoyed really exploring as well?
Absolutely. And what I love so much too is the direct correlation with some of the social issues that we're dealing with in today. Pandemic aside, or in addition to the pandemic, rather, like you said, the police and how the police handle certain things, and gosh, just high stakes and what is necessary, like when push comes to shove and things get bad, we as human beings need to act, and sometimes there isn't time for thought. And so add to that the layer of the fact that we're all going through this in real time right now, audience and actors alike. It really, really just lent itself to I think a really heightened energy and success for the sort of arc of all of our characters.
And also, while I was watching the film, I also liked that there were some lighter moments with some humor. And was that something that you also enjoy doing, like kind of incorporating the jokes and, throughout filming?
Absolutely. And I feel lucky that Adwin and I had a lot of opportunities to play. This movie gets dark quickly, but I think that this element of friendship and this element of love and history, I mean, we play a group of friends from high school for the most part, all of us. I loved being able to play with Adwin and to bring some of that humor to the job and to the film. I think there's humor in everything, even in the darkest moments. I think that as cliche as it is, laughter is the best medicine. And I always find humor in my work, despite how dark or serious the project is. And I think that given the roles and the script that I was gifted with, it really lent itself for that. So within the parameters of the terribleness of what's going on, I really worked to find a lot of the love and joy of just, living, which I think we're so lucky to be alive. And so I just reminded myself of that throughout.
And were you able to maybe do any improv while you were filming, or did you mainly stick to the script, or what was that experience like as well?
I also, we were, Will was so generous with us. we of course made sure to get that script word for word at times, but there was a lot of opportunity to play and to improvise, and I sometimes think that's when some of the best moments appear in film, you know. And we don't know when we're watching a movie when the actors are doing what was scripted and what wasn't. But as the actor, I can say that in this movie there was a lot of play. There were a lot of moments that we were supposed to cut and we just kept going, and he just let it roll. And I think some of those beautiful organic kind of discoveries are going to show up in this movie.
And also with the movie like being set over like the social media and the like kind of Zoom app, and also I wanted to ask in that respect about creating the physicality and really figuring out how to relate to the screen when you're in the camera while you were shooting, and what that experience was like as well.
Well, it was tough. It was tough. You know, we used Zoom interface to communicate as actors. And then we had cameras set up behind us to kind of mimic the idea that we were looking directly into the camera. But as you know, from even a situation like this, you know, we can tell when we're looking right into the camera, we can tell when we're looking away. And to kind of then add to that, the sort of stage, if you will, of, you know, like I'm in, I'm out, that was a challenge. And a lot of my work is super physical too. I'm a physical actor, and Adwin too. And we flail about and jump around. And it was definitely a challenge getting into the world of this is what we're working with only. But we did it, you know, and once we had it under our belts, it became easier and easier. You know, each day was a little bit better, and we sort of like got used to this idea of being in a frame always, and really not having the freedom that we're often afforded as actors on a regular set in a normal world without a pandemic.
And with you and your Edwin's characters mainly being in like the couple rooms, like in their apartment, was that something that also really informed your performances, and kind of just being mainly in those like couple of rooms? And what was that experience like?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we were working in an actual apartment, so that felt very organic to us. We took some time in the beginning of the project, really getting comfortable with the space. You know, most of our work takes place in the living room of our apartment in New York City. The other characters are in Los Angeles. There's a moment in the film that we leave the space, some drama ensues, and we're still in the apartment, but we get up from the couch, we move into the restroom, you know, things are going crazy. And yeah, that was also a challenge, frankly, you know, because all of a sudden we're leaving this locked down location, and we had to work with, again, these frames and the zoom and placing the camera in the right place, because we, the characters, are bringing the camera along with us. You know, the camera almost became another character in this film that we had to be aware of. Whereas in general, you know, generally speaking, it's something that we are trying to kind of forget about and ignore.
And also with the movie now being released, especially with the VOD aspect, and is that something that you're looking forward to sharing with audiences, like digitally, especially with this type of film as well?
I'm so excited for this film to come out. I really am. I feel that it's so special. Really specifically in that it's just so real and relevant right now, you know. I mean, there isn't another time that releasing this movie would work in the same way. It's almost, you know, I mean, I keep getting these messages from people like, too soon, a little bit maybe, but you know what, I think it's going to work for us.
And would you be interested in doing another movie like this going forward, largely like on a computer screen? And what's that experience been like of maybe doing this again?
Listen, you got to roll with the times. And I have a funny feeling more and more of this type of work is going to become available, you know, for safety reasons and just because it's the new normal, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember just prior to this, Zoom itself was such a huh? I got a Zoom. Okay, what do I click? You know, and now everybody, it's just a part of our lives now. So I do think that there's something to this kind of work. And I think that there's going to be more of it. And absolutely, I would love to do more. You know, we felt really safe. I have to add that. It was nerve-wracking getting this job in the beginning. I really had to think, like, is this something I want to do? Because we had just, the stay-at-home orders in Los Angeles had just lifted. People were not working. I think we were one of the first, if not the first, to go into production like this. And it was a little scary, you know. I really had to kind of weigh the pros and cons. Again, the minute I spoke to Will, Bo, John, the other producers on this film, and Adwin, I immediately was comfortable. You know, I think everybody has their own set of what feels right, and for me, this felt very right. And as I, went through the process, I finished feeling like, yeah, that was a good decision and something I would absolutely do again.
Well, I think that was me, Lee, but thank you again for taking the time out today. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me, Karen. It was lovely meeting you.
You too. Thanks again.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Bye.